YouTube is live.
Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town. Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town. Chicago, Chicago.
Well, hello, folks. We're back. And another week and a couple of more school shootings. Now, no doubt you've already heard about the tragic shooting in Santa Fe, Texas. Yes, I believe that was on Thursday. We at Chi-Town Expat truly grieve the loss of life, and we are praying for the families of those who were affected. Not surprisingly, gun control spokesmen are using this tragedy to call for additional gun control. And the liberal media is helping bolster their case by using this shooting to advance their gun control agenda. For starters, some outlets are continuing to cite the fake number of mass shootings in 2018. Which was even refuted by the Washington Post after the tragic Parkland shooting. But then there's arguably the most powerful bias of all. There's the positive stories that the media chooses to ignore. Just ask yourself, do you think most Americans heard that a school resource officer used a gun to stop a school shooter in Illinois this week? Or did they see the dramatic video of a Brazilian mom who was also an off-duty cop who used her concealed firearm to stop a school shooter in Sao Paulo? And what about the other positive examples where guns have been used to save lives all across the country, such as in Memphis, Tennessee, and many other places across the world? Do you think most Americans heard that the Florida man used his AR-15 about a month ago to stop 7 intruders in his home? Of course not. The media ignores these positive uses of firearms. And then when a tragedy like today occurs, they say, "Here we go again." But they can only maintain their "here we go again" mantra by ignoring the beneficial uses of guns in America. And they bolster their guns are the scourge of the planet mentality by ignoring all other types of death. They ignore the fact that more than 10,100 Americans have died in car accidents since the Parkland shooting. If the media was reporting on each tragic car death in the country, who knows? Americans might be saying, "There we go again," after the next accident. We certainly cheer the fact that doctors are treating the injured in Santa Fe, Texas, and with good reason. But you know their doctors' negligence kills more than 250,000 people per year? That means that roughly 684 died yesterday from doctors' negligence. Where was the media's intensive reporting on doctors' mistakes? Of course, that would be absurd, but that's exactly what they're doing to demonize firearms. Thankfully, there are some pro-gun voices in the media. The GOA spokesmen are being asked to speak about this tragedy. For example, Eric Pratt, the executive director of the GOA, that's the Gun Owners of America, is scheduled to appear on One America News Network on Monday. Already today, the GOA-backed Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, was on TV telling viewers that our nation does not need more gun control? His answer, Attorney General Paxton said we need to train and arm responsible adults like teachers. To this end, GOA is strongly supporting the Safe Students Act, H.R. 34, and the as-introduced version of the House Concealed Carry Reciprocity Bill. It's H.R. 38. Two bills that would enable teachers to protect children at schools with concealed handguns. You could call to urge your congressman to support these two bills. As mentioned above, gun owners know that firearms are used far more often to save life. According to the CDC, it's 16 to 100 times more often. The GOA is engaged in a battle of ideas and is reporting the stories that the media chooses to ignore. Gun Owners of America has scores of Good Guys with Guns articles in its self-defense corner on its website. They are continually posting self-defense stories on their Facebook and Twitter pages, and some of them can even be found on their YouTube pages. Thanks again for your support of the Second Amendment in these crucial times. There's something else that I kind of wonder about. I looked at this last guy who was wearing a trench coat decorated with all kinds of Marxist and fascist and left-wing symbols, and he was a real nut about socialism and so on and so forth, and all of these areas that are contrary to American thought. And nobody reported him, or it seems like the authorities didn't really care whether he was sane or not, but it certainly had a lot to do with his picking up that rifle and going out and trying to shoot people. And then, not only that, then he decided that it was people he liked he wouldn't shoot. He just wanted to shoot people that he didn't like. So what kind of drugs, what kind of mental health is this guy got? And look at all of the other ones that are doing the same kind of things. They're all either on some kind of drug, they're a religious nut, or they're or they've been mentally disturbed in some way or shape or form. And the government has let us down by not getting these kids, these people reported and taken care of. And it's time, I think, that we looked into changing the so-called experts who are running things. And I have a couple of other things about that we need to be looking at. In fact, there's a couple of posts that were written I'm not exactly sure by who, but anyway, the United States of America is one bad presidential election cycle away from the establishment of a permanent socialist one-party state. And on the current trajectory, if President Trump is defeated in the 2020 presidential election, his likely Democrat successor will bring into power a clique of former Maoist communists intent on permanently consolidating their control over this country. The clique in question has its roots in what was once America's largest pro-China Marxist-Leninist organization, the League of Revolutionary Struggle, the LRS. Founded in 1978, the LRS at its height had chapters in over a dozen cities with nearly 3,000 cadres and thousands of followers. Its newspaper, Unity, La Unidad, was published bi-monthly in 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Chinese. The LRS was also unusual for communist organizations of the era in that the majority of its membership was Black, Asian, or Hispanic, and women played strong leadership roles. The LRS was a true rainbow coalition. The League was very active in student politics, particularly in the Bay Area, and had strongholds at UC Berkeley, San Jose State, San Francisco State, and Stanford University in Palo Alto, California. In 1990, after the shock of the Chinese Communist Party's slaughter of students in Tiananmen Square and Beijing's move away from overt Maoism, the LRS split into 2 factions. The larger grouping, including most of the Asian comrades, dropped Maoism and maintained control of the Unity newspaper and rebranded itself as the Unity Organizing Committee. The other faction kept a more traditional Marxist-Leninist outlook, becoming the Socialist Organizing Network, which had later merged with the Freedom Road Socialist Organization. The Unity Organizing Committee disavowed Marxism, Leninism, devoting themselves to electoral politics, especially through the left wing of the Democratic Party. Remnants of this faction, many of them Stanford alumni, have made good on their commitments. Their network is now active at the highest levels of the Democratic Party, as well as its supporting and allied organizations. Affiliates have held senior positions in the Clinton administration, the Obama administration, and the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign. Many supporters hold influential positions in major nonprofits, organized labor, and business. Several U.S. senators are beholden to the network, as are many Congress members, gubernatorial candidates, and state legislators. The Obama presidency was, to a large degree, a product of this rainbow conspiracy. Today, several leading contenders are being groomed to make the Democratic nomination in 2020. If one of them is successful, they will complete the socialization of America started under Obama. While the Unity faction has infiltrated his highest reaches of the Democratic Party, the Socialist Organizing Network is taking care of the lower levels of the party. When the Socialist Organizing Network joined the Freedom Road Socialist Organization in 1994, it completed a union of several Maoist groupings, from the 1970s and the 1980s. SON, the Socialist Organizing Network, joined the Freedom Road Socialist Organization in 1994. SON comrades now worked alongside a former cadre of the October League, Communist Party, USA, Marxist-Leninist, Line of March, Communist Workers' Party, Revolutionary Workers Headquarters, and the Proletarian Unity League. This alphabet soup of tiny Maoist sects forged itself into one of the largest, well-funded, and shadowiest organizations on the U.S. left today. Still supportive of China and North Korea, today's Freedom Road Socialist organizations has mended fences with their former LRS Unity Organizing Committee comrades and are working in tandem to move the Democrats permanently to the far left. And now we're going to pause for a bit to pay a few bills, and we'll be back shortly and with more.
I love it. Bet your bottom dollar you lose the blues in Chicago.
Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger, from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel, from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna, from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha, from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
People are always talking about the stock market, always looking to invest in a good opportunity, something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about taking money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures from UNCF. Your investment can help students go to college, which ends up making the future better for everybody. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A message from UNCF and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14...
41, 31, 13. We
took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted.
I
realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
And it's a beautiful day here at the Search Engine and Digital Marketing Race in beautiful Tempe, Arizona. The horses lining up at the gate now, waiting for the bell. And they're off. It's just a two-way race today between your business brand and your relentless competition. Oh, but wait a minute. You've just hired Warhorse Agency for your digital marketing and are quickly taking the lead in your market. Well, hang on to your seat, though. Your competition started their own Google AdWords pay-per-click campaign and are trying to catch up to you now. Good for you, though. They have no idea what they're doing. But don't worry yet. Your digital marketing jockey at Warhorse Agency tirelessly regains the lead with a great viral Facebook ad as well as your own Google SEO and pay-per-click campaign ran by a Warhorse, true leading generating professional. Holy smokes, your business just got a major lead. You're on the first page of Google now, and as they approach the finish line, your business wins. Thanks, Warhorse Agency, for another smashing victory. Contact us today for your free digital marketing evaluation. Visit us at www.gowarhorse.com today.
Hi there, we're back. Now this Freedom Road socialist organization is the driving force behind the Black Lives Matter movement. It is also heavily involved in local electoral politics and is very active in voter registration movements, particularly in targeted southern and southwestern states with high Black and Latino populations. Now, the FRSO has also formed a strategic alliance with the 5,000-strong pro-China Communist Party USA, the 35,000-strong Democratic Socialists of America, and the much smaller pro-China Committees of Correspondence for Democracy and Socialism, to run hundreds of candidates in the low-level and some congressional, gubernatorial, and senatorial Democratic primaries across the country. Now, this army of around 45,000 members is intertwined with the hundreds of thousands strong Bernie Sanders movement and receives money and guidance from its allies at the highest levels of the Democratic Party. The Rainbow Conspiracy has proven its worth with significant election victories in Virginia and Alabama. This year, the coalition is trying to take back the House for the Democrats by targeting the Republican soft underbelly in North Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Florida, and Arizona. In 2020, they will try to take back Democratic control of the Senate and install their chosen president into the White House. After 2020, the Rainbow Conspiracy will use racial politics, immigration, legal and illegal, and the power of the state to destroy all opposition to their complete and permanent dominance of this country. Only President Trump, a handful of patriotic Republican politicians, and a few 100,000 grassroots activists stand in their way. God willing, that will be enough. Now, we'll be giving you part 2 in the near future, and it's the most dangerous man in America you never heard of. And there's a book going to be released called The Rainbow Conspiracy, and that'll be released in October of 2018. Now, I have been doing some reading on the internet, and some of the supposedly conspiracy theories I found to be really off the wall. But maybe they are taking what is actually happening and adding to it to make it even more scary for the average American. But folks, we really are in a struggle for the life of America. And it's been happening, it's been going on actually probably since the late 1800s. The addition of the Federal Reserve in 1913 has ruined our wealth in this country and allowed the big bankers, the Rothschilds, etc., to become even richer. And while the middle class is going down and gradually reducing its power and its wealth, the rich are getting richer and richer now. But they're all most of them are doing it in a very corrupt and unhealthy way. Now, Steve Phillips is currently one of the most powerful Democratic Party operatives in the country and is a highly influential progressive strategist, and his political roots are Marxist-Leninist, and he has never wavered in his commitment to a socialist America. A maelstrom engulfed the tiny backwater of Stanford University student politics on May 23, 1990. After months of investigation, the Stanford Daily senior staff writer, Michael Friedli, was ready to blow the lid off Stanford's most insidious political cult, the League of Revolutionary Struggle. The ripples off this expose are still being felt today. Wrote Friedli, over the past 3 months, the Daily has interviewed dozens of students who have some familiarity with the League. These interviews were part of an investigation of the League, which included more than 100 interviews with students, administration officials, and nationwide experts. Many students interviewed by the Daily asked not to be identified because they said they are afraid of harassment by League members. The bombshell article went on to detail the League's history of highly secretive political manipulation of certain student groups and its wider influence on student politics. A secretive nationwide organization called the League of Revolutionary Struggle, it's Marxist-Leninist, has been a little-known factor in student politics at Stanford for several years, a Daily investigation found. Through the selective recruitment of Stanford students into its organization, the League has been able to influence aspects of progressive politics on campus by trying to place its members in leadership positions within the ASSU, that's the Association of Students at Stanford University, the student government, the communities of color, and in staff positions. The total number of Stanford students and staff members who are League members is apparently fewer than 30, but these individuals are in positions that allow them to shape student government policies according to a number of sources who said they have either been recruited by the League or have worked with League members in the ASSU or student of color organizations. The presence of the League has been in part responsible for dramatic effects at Stanford, ranging from divisions within the communities of color to the pressured resignation of an administrator to parts of the planning of last spring's takeover of University President Donald Kennedy's office. And now we're going to pay some more bills, and then we'll be back to finish up this dissertation.
Shut down on State Street, that great street, I just want to say,
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much, for taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot,
for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for taking you to your therapies, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I do the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Did you know that Center Right Radio is looking for new programming? Contact us today at centerright.live. Center Right Radio is now accepting new advertisers. Get in touch with us today at centerright.live.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org/AZ. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for listening to Center Right Radio.
Okay, we're back. Now, freely expose the cultish secrecy and hunger for power of the pro-China Maoist LRS. The League, based in the Bay Area but with membership across the country, has been able to recruit Stanford students into its organization in a manner secret enough so that students are not initially told they are being recruited by the League. According to several Stanford students who said they were recruited but did not join the League. Recruitment of individuals by the League is generally conducted over a long period of time, several years in some cases, according to students who were recruited. Students who are successfully recruited by the League are then able to further the League's goals by running for student offices and helping to determine policies in the ASSU. In typical Maoist fashion, the LRS focused heavily on racial politics and agitation. These politics should feel very familiar to any Obama-era survivor. According to League theory, the United States is composed of various oppressed nations, such as the Afro-American nation in the South, the Chicano nation in the Southwest, and the Asian American nation. The overall goal of the League has been the liberation of these nationalities under a socialist state, according to a League publication called Peace, Justice, Equality, and Socialism that explains its goals. Until it can gain enough support to stage a revolution, the League attempts to organize, agitate, and educate the masses by working with more mainstream groups, according to the publication. By making mass organizations more radical, the League can gain enough support for its protracted revolution in the United States. The publication states, Unlike the Communist Party USA, which is a predominantly white organization, the League focuses on mass organizations dealing with people of color for its support within student and labor movements. At Stanford, the League has tried to work toward its goals with varying degrees of success. In Mecca, a Chicano-Latino student group, AASA, the Black Student Union, and the ASSU through the People's Platform. Friedli went on to name the names of several League activists, including 2 staffers of his own newspaper. Friedli quoted student activist Richard Hsu, who was heavily recruited by the League, but eventually balked at full membership. Former Asian American Student Association chair Richard Hsu said he was heavily recruited by Elsa Tsutaoka, the office manager of the Asian American Activities Center. According to Hsu, when Tsutaoka asked him to apply for membership in the League, Hsu asked her which Stanford students were members of the League. "You shouldn't ask that question," was the reply, he said. When questioned by the Daily, Tsutaoka denied having any knowledge of the League or that she had ever recruited for the League. Added Friedli, because the recruitment process is secretive and individuals refuse to acknowledge that they are members of the League, it is difficult to prove whether anyone is a League member. Council of Presidents member David Brown and former COP member Stacy Layton are both believed to be members of the League, according to a number of sources. Brown refused to comment. Layton denied that she was a member or that she had any knowledge of the League's membership at Stanford. Although there is no indication that she joined the League, COP member Ingrid Nava, who was recently reelected to a second term, was heavily recruited by the League beginning at the end of last summer, according to a number of students. Nava refused to return numerous phone calls. At the end of last summer, Nava lived briefly at a house on Bryant Street in Palo Alto, known sarcastically by some progressive students as the Revolutionary Hutch Hotel, where recruitment for the League has occurred, according to sources who said they have been recruited. Tsutaoka and Stephen Phillips, a former BSU chair and current Daily Multicultural editor, who has allegedly recruited for the League, currently live in the house. Phillips recruited Nava beginning in September, according to a student who was also recruited by the League. Phillips said he had no knowledge of the League's involvement at Stanford and has not recruited for the organization. Such evasions were standard League practice. The flat-out denials were almost certainly lies. Elsa Tsutaoka contributed to Unity, May 4th, 1987, the newspaper of the League of Revolutionary Struggle. She was also listed as a contributor in 1988 and was a close collaborator with Phillips. In May 1985, the League of Revolutionary Struggle newspaper Unity published a supplement on the university's South African divestment movement. The article profiled the activities of several Stanford out of South Africa activists, including Steve Phillips. Black Student Union Chair, Stanford out of South Africa, Liaison Committee with the administration and Stacy Layton, Students Against Reaganism. In the interview, Steve Phillips proudly stated that some of the people who have played roles in organizing SOSA have been folks who've worked with unity and take a Marxist-Leninist perspective. It's really exciting to see the principles of Marxism-Leninism being successful and making a difference. Steve Phillips, Unity Supplement, May 1985. Steve Phillips and David Brown were principal organizers of the April 1987 March on Sacramento that drew 8,000 people to Sacramento to support expanded educational opportunities for students of color. The march was a league operation, and now we'll pay some bills, and we'll be back for the final segment of the day.
They do things they don't do on Broadway.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much,
For taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot, for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for taking you to your therapies, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I do the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Did you know that Center Right Radio is looking for new programming? Contact us today at centerright.live. Center Right Radio is now accepting new advertisers. Get in touch with us today at centerright.live.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org/AZ. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for listening to Center Right Radio.
Hi, and we're back. Okay. In 1990, Stephen C. Phillips, 1984 to 86 chair of Stanford University's Black Student Union and co-chair of the California Black African Student Statewide Alliance from 1987 to 1990, contributed an article on Nelson Mandela to the July 9, 1990 issue of the LRS's Unity, and another article, Keeping Hope Alive, in 1990, in the November 26th issue. after the LRS dissolved in late 1990, Unity, January 28, 1991, issued a statement, a call to build an organization for the 1990s and beyond. It listed more than 100 activists working to build a new group from the ashes of the LRS, the Unity Organizing Committee. The League wasn't dying, it was reincarnating. Among those committed to building the new organization were David Brown, former student body co-president, Stanford University; Stacy Layton, West Coast organizer, United States Students Organization; Ingrid Nava, student body co-president, Stanford University; and Stephen C. Phillips, writer, education activist in San Francisco. Today, Elsa Tsutayoka is a medical doctor in San Francisco. David Brown went on to work in education and is today Chief of Staff at the Office of Democratic Party Leader and Alameda County Supervisor Wilma Chan, herself a former League of Revolutionary Struggle leader. Ingrid Nava is a labor lawyer, Associate General Counsel at SEIU Local 32BJ, New York. Stacy Layton went on to serve as an appellate representative to the Ninth Circuit Judicial Conference from 2010 until 2013, and currently serves as a lawyer representative to the Northern District of California. Steve Phillips is a self-described national political leader, civil rights lawyer, and senior fellow at the Center for American Progress. Phillips has appeared on multiple national radio and television networks, including NBC, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and TV One. He is a columnist for The Nation and a regular opinion contributor to the New York Times. In 2014, was named one of America's top 50 influencers by Campaigns and Elections magazine. As I will show in following posts, Steve Phillips is currently one of the most powerful Democratic Party operatives in the country and is a highly influential progressive strategist. His political roots are Marxist-Leninist, and he has never wavered in his commitment to a socialist America. More than that, he has the power and influence to change this country in ways that will terrify you. Look for part 3 coming soon. The Unity Organizing Committee, Seeds of a Socialist America. Now, there's so much of this. It is so prevalent in what is going on in the country. The left has a plan to destroy America, turn it into a socialist, what they consider to be heaven. But for the average American, it will be a pure hell. So, whatever you do, start to get involved. Do some reading. Get educated. Don't believe what you read or hear on the regular news. Newspapers are full of garbage. The TV news is a pack of lies, fake news. Donald Trump is right. The mainstream media is nothing but fake news. And it's to keep you asleep, to keep you from waking up and doing something. All of this gun control stuff, all they want to do is take the guns away so that they have no way that they have any opposition to whatever they want to do. Remember in the hurricanes, one of the first things they did was go down and take people's guns away from them. And if you remember something, the Japanese admiral, prior to the World War II, said that they would never want to invade America because there was a gun behind every blade of grass. Now, don't you think that these politicians, that these Marxists, Leninists, socialists are aware of that fact? And the reason that they want to keep taking your guns away is so that they have no opposition to whatever they want to do. And whatever they want to do is not good for the average American. So you just keep on going, keep on trucking, read, activate, get educated, start to believe some of these conspiracy theories, because believe me, they're not totally wrong, and you will find it in your heart to stand up for America. The left has been terrible for years about it. But it's time that we educated ourselves and got really going. So stay tuned for the Chips and Salsa show, which is coming up right after this we're done here. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
I saw a man, he danced with his wife in Chicago, Chicago, my hometown.